Welcome to the hub of Gyatva. Here we are together with an exciting chapter of physics, chapter 5, the measurement of length and motion. Before starting with the chapter, let us come to its aims and objectives. First, to identify the linear motion in the surroundings, to classify different kinds of motions as linear, circular or oscillatory, to justify whether an object is at rest or in motion, to study use different measurement systems, to illustrate circular motion or the oscillatory motion. Before starting with the chapter, let us give its summary. And starting with the summary, we have few questions to ask. At what time you wake up and get ready for going to school? How much distance you cover to reach your school? For making your school uniform, how much length of cloth is required? How much quantity of milk is required in a day in your house? How much quantity of apples and grapes a fruit vendor weighs while using the physical balance? When you are ill, what is your body temperature? So these examples gives us an idea of how often we come across the measurements in our daily life. Before starting with the measurements, let us come to the traditional units of measurement. In earlier times, people used different parts of their body for measuring length. First was handspan. Handspan is the length between the tip of your thumb and the tip of the little finger of your outstretched palm. Second is cubic, that is the length from elbow to the tip of your center finger of your outstretched arm. Third is yard, the length between chin to the tip of center finger of your stretched arm. Foot, the length of an adult person's barefoot from tip of toe to the tip of heel. Step, length from tip of left heel to the tip of right heel during a normal walk. So the length of the body parts were not at all accurate and reliable. They could not be considered as standard units because the size of body parts would vary from person to person. Now let us come to the definition of measurement. Measurement is one of the most useful process in science and in our daily life. It is defined as a comparison of unknown quantity with a known fixed quantity. Physical quantity. The quantities that can be measured are called physical quantities. It consists of a magnitude and a unit. For example, length is say 50 meters. So यहाँ पर 50 magnitude है and m, that stands for meter, that is its unit. For example, we write mass equal to 15 kg. तो 15 magnitude हुआ और kg, that is kilogram, वो mass की क्या हुई? Unit. So it means physical quantity consists of two things, a magnitude and a unit. For example, time, we write it as 4 hours. 4 is giving us the magnitude and hour, that is h, that gives us its unit. Other physical quantities are like speed, volume, area, density, force, perimeter, circumference, velocity, force, electricity. These are all physical quantities about which you will be studying in your higher classes. Unit. The known fixed quantity is called a unit. Without unit, a physical quantity cannot be expressed, because when we write 5, it means only a number. But the moment you write 5m, that means you are referring to a physical quantity because you have written unit in front of 5. Second is standard unit, the unit which is acceptable to all, that is called as a standard unit. Standard unit of measurement, or we also call it as SI unit. For the sake of uniformity, the scientists from all over the world adopted an international system of units which is called as SI. S capital, I again capital, which means some other system of units are MKS, where capital M stands for M is meter for length, capital K, it stands for kilogram, which is for mass, and S, that is second for time. Then we have CGS. Capital C का मतलब है centimeter, which is used for measuring length. Capital G का मतलब है gram, which is used for measuring mass. Capital S का मतलब second, which is used for measuring time. Now how are we going to write the units? So we have certain rules for writing out the units. First point, the standard measuring units are written with small letter. For example, when you write meter, then you don't have to write capital M, we write small m. Or you write completely the word METRE. Likewise for kilogram, we write kg, and for second we write small s. Symbol for any unit should be followed by a full stop. For example, centimeter. It should not be centimeter full stop. It should be only centimeter. So whenever you are writing down the units, it should not be followed with a full stop. Symbol of any unit should never be written as a plural. For example, we do not write 10 meters. That is 10 m. We do not write it as 10 ms. It is wrong. We only write it as 10 meter. Similarly, 30 seconds, it is written as 30 small s and not 30 ss. That is, we do not write plurals, we only write it in singulars. Next point, while writing the full name of a unit, a small letter instead of a capital letter should be used, even if the unit is named after the name of a scientist. For example, unit of temperature is named after a scientist, Kelvin. So instead of writing the name as Kelvin in capital letters, we use the first alphabet, that is Kelvin K, in small. So when you are writing the complete word, it should be in small letters, that is Kelvin. But if you are writing only the alphabet, then it has to be in capital letters. So capital K or small Kelvin. Similarly, like the force of unit, a unit of force, that was after Sir Isaac Newton. Now when you are writing Newton, Newton or capital N. Next is, how do we measure length? Suppose you have to measure the length of your notebook. You take a scale and place it along the side of the notebook. It is important to remember that when you are taking down the reading, your eye should be vertically above the mark which is to be noted. Third point, if the corner of the rule is broken, अगर कॉर्नर रूलर का टूट गया है या थोड़ा सा हैम्पर हो गया या वहाँ की रीडिंग आपकी क्लियर नहीं आ रही है, थोड़ा मिस हो रहा है, सो एनी फुल मार्क ऑफ द स्केल, that is 1 centimeter or 2.5 centimeter should be taken as initial reading. Then the final reading, say it is 9.8 centimeter is marked. तो actual reading के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? Final reading में से initial reading को subtract करना पड़ेगा. So आपकी actual reading क्या आएगी? Final reading minus initial reading. Suppose final reading आपकी 9.8 centimeter थी और initial reading 2.5 centimeter. तो actual reading क्या होगी? 9.8 minus 2.5, that will give you 7.3 centimeter. Again, it should not be centimeters. You are going to write only centimeters, small c and small m. How to measure a curved line? तो उसके लिए हम यूज़ करते हैं एक रूलर और थ्रेड. जो भी एक कर्व्ड लाइन है उसके ऊपर आप थ्रेड लगा दो, उसको फिर सीधा करके रूलर से उसकी मेजरमेंट ले लो. So by using ruler and thread or by using inch tape or a measuring tape. Next is, how do we describe motion? Now when we measure the position of an object, then it is measured from some fixed point which is also called as a reference point. जैसे अगर आप अपने घर से चलना शुरू करते हो, so your house would be taken as your fixed point or the reference point. So what is a reference point? It's an important definition. A fixed point with respect to which the given body changes its position is known as reference point or origin. The reference point is also important in deciding whether an object is at rest or is in motion. Next term is motion. The body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to two things, either time or with respect to the observer or the reference point. For example, motion of the car, motion of the bus, motion of the aeroplane, motion of the birds, motion of animals, butterfly, these are all said to be in motion. Next term is rest. The body is said to be at rest if it doesn't change its position with respect to us, or you can say with respect to fixed point, that is called as a reference point, or with respect to the origin. For example, the car which is parked outside your house, that is at rest because it is not changing its position, or the blackboard which is fixed on the wall in your school. Again, with respect to time, the blackboard is fixed, means it is at rest. Now another important thing is that motion and rest, both these terms are relative terms. Means the body at rest is not in a state of absolute rest. It can be a motion at the same time depending upon the choice of your reference point. For example, very interesting example, suppose you are sitting in a moving train. आप किसी ट्रेन में बैठे हैं और ट्रेन चल रही है, सो आप अपनी फैमिली के विद रिस्पेक्ट टू किस पर हैं, रेस्ट पर जो आपको बाहर खड़े होके बाय कर रहे हैं, यू आर इन मोशन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू देम. So that is what is, if we are in a moving train, we are at rest with respect to our co-passengers, but at the same time we are in motion with respect to the buildings or the trees which are outside the train. So this means rest and motion, both the terms are relative to each other. Next comes the types of motion. First is linear motion. As the name is clear, linear means in a line. So body has linear motion if it is moving in a straight line or in a straight path. For example, motion of a moving car on a straight road, motion of a ball which is dropped from the roof of a building, it is coming down in a straight line. Second, circular motion. Circular motion is that motion in which the body moves along a circular path keeping a fixed distance from the center of the path. For example, motion of the moon around the earth, motion of planets around the earth, all these are moving in circular motion. Next is periodic motion. The motion of a body that repeats after fixed interval of time is known as periodic motion. Motion of, for example, motion of earth around the sun, motion of pendulum clock, motion of your hands of a clock which is hung on the wall, all these are the examples of periodic motion. Hope children you are clear with the topics. Now let us come to the MCQs to test what all have you understood. First question, which is the correct order to show units from smaller to the largest? Option A, millimeter, centimeter, decameter. Option B, kilometer, decimeter, millimeter. Option C, centimeter, millimeter, meter. Or option D, hectometer, kilometer or meter. And the correct option for question number 1 is A. Here goes. Those of you have given the correct answer, kudos to you. Second question, full form of SI unit. International system of units, standard international system, standard international units or the system of international units. Again, the first option is the correct one, which is the international system of units. Question number 3, the position of our eye while reading a scale should be. This we just read. It should be towards the left of the reading, should be towards the right of the reading, in front of our reading or below the reading. Yes, I think everybody knows the answer. The position of our eye while reading a scale should be in front of our reading. Question number 4, what is the correct form of writing centimeter as unit? So option A, capital C, small m. Option B, small c and small m. Option C, CMS. Or option D, capital C and capital M. And everybody knows the correct answer is option B, that is small c and small m. Question number 5, 10.4 meter is equal to. So everybody knows 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So multiply by 100, we are left with 1 0 because one decimal goes with 1 0. So you are left with 1 0. So the correct option goes for 1040 centimeter. It is more of a mathematical question, I think, than a physics question. Question number 6, to measure the girth of a tree, we use option A, meter rod, flexible measurement tape, thread and ruler, or both B and C. So the correct option goes for option D, that is both B and C, that is flexible measurement tape and a thread and a ruler. Question number 7, on pushing a heavy box, the motion is option A, random, B, circular, C, oscillatory or linear. So when you are pushing a heavy box means you are making it move in a straight line. So the correct option is linear. You can get the word line from that option. So the correct option is option D. Now question number 9, you have to choose the incorrect statement. Mind it children, you have to find out which is a wrong statement out of these given. First, length of a leaf is measured with a ruler. Second, boundary of leaf is measured with thread and ruler. Third, length of cloth is measured by a meter rod. Fourth, girth of a tree is measured by cubit? No. So the correct option is option D. Girth of a tree is measured by using a measuring tape or a ruler. So it is not measured by a cubit because these are not the standard units. So which of the following statements are correct? First, you will be provided with the 3 statements and accordingly you will be going to choose your options. First, the reference point decides whether an object is at rest or in motion. Second statement, motion and rest both are relative terms. Mind it bete, you have to find out which is correct. Third statement, motion of butterfly is uniform. First and the second statements, reference point decides whether an object is at rest or in motion. Motion, rest both are relative terms, and third statement is wrong. Motion of butterfly is not uniform. It is non-uniform motion because it will cover unequal distances in equal intervals of time. So statement number 3 is wrong. Now we come to question number 11. You have to match column 1 with column 2. First, to and fro motion. That is called as what? That is a periodic motion. So keep on matching A with S. Second, motion that repeats itself after fixed interval of time. What is that? Periodic motion. So to and fro motion is oscillatory motion. Motion in a circular path, that is a circular motion, that is Q. Motion in a straight line, that is linear. So to and fro motion is your oscillatory motion. So A goes with R. So the correct option is D. Everybody is clear? See, you have to do not get confused between to and fro and motion that repeats after fixed interval of time. To and fro means circular, this oscillatory, and the motion that repeats itself after fixed interval of time, that is a periodic motion, like the motion of the hands of a clock. Question number 12. After using a thread to measure a curved line, what you should do the next? Measure the length of the thread against a straight scale, or cut the thread, mark the thread with a pen, or wrap the thread around the object again. So what you should do? After using a thread, you have to measure the length of the thread against a straight scale so as to get the correct measurement. Question number 13. What is a reference point? It is a random point, a fixed object or location, the start of a measurement or the end of a measurement. So reference point is a fixed object or location. We also call it as origin. Question number 14. How can you determine if an object is in motion or not? First option, if it changes its position with respect to a reference point over time. Second option, if it doesn't change its position with respect to a reference point over time. Third, if it is not shaking. Fourth, it is colorful. So how to find out if it is in motion or not? If it changes its position with respect to the reference point over time, like the motion of the car moving on the road. Every time with respect to a reference point or with respect to time, its position goes on changing. So the correct option is option A. When we are on a moving bus and look out from the bus, what do we conclude about their motion? They are in motion, they are at rest, they are asleep, or they are jumping. What do you find? That they are in motion. Question number 16. Why do we feel that all the passengers on a moving bus are at rest when we look at them? The bus is shaking. That is why you feel that the passengers are at rest. Option B, the position of the passengers are not changing with us. Option C, the passengers are moving inside the bus. Or option D, the driver announces the motion. So the correct option is the position of the passengers are not changing with us. That is why you feel that the passengers in a moving bus are at rest, because with respect to the reference point or with respect to time, the position of the passengers does not change and you feel that they are at rest. Question number 17. What type of motion of wheels of a car moving on a straight road exhibit? Circular motion, linear motion, oscillatory motion, or both A and B? So when the car is moving on a straight road, it is a linear motion, but here it is asked what type of motion of wheels of a car. So it also represents a circular motion. Question number 18. What type of motion does the pendulum of the clock exhibit? Linear motion, circular motion, oscillatory motion, or so it represents an oscillatory motion or the to and fro motion. Question number 19. 4 pieces of wooden sticks A, B, C and D are placed along the length of 30 cm long scale as shown in the figure. Which one of them is 3.4 cm in? So as you can see, you have a scale and on it there it is a marked A, B, C and D. These are 4 wooden sticks which are placed along the length of 30 cm and you have to find out, just find which of them gives you the correct measurement of 3.4 cm. Question number 20. Which of the following statements are correct? First option, the movement of an object is called motion. Second, an object is said to be in motion or moving when its position changes with respect to time or with respect to a reference point. Third, when the position of a car changes with time, we say that the car is moving or that the car is in motion. All of the above. So I hope all the statements are correct, because when the object is moving, it is said to be in motion, and it is said to be in motion when its position changes, or when the position of the car also changes with respect to time, it is said to be in motion. So all the above statements are correct. Question number 21. Which of the following statements are correct? First, when an object moves along a circular path, it is called circular motion. Second, the motion of artificial satellites along the earth around the earth is also called circular motion. The movement of earth around the sun is an example of circular motion. Yes. So all these statements are correct, because when the object is moving in a circular path, the motion it exhibits, it is known as circular motion. So the remaining two, these are the examples of objects in circular motion. Assertion and reason questions. See, in these questions, children, you will be provided with the 4 options. If both assertion and reason are true and reason gives you the correct explanation of assertion A, then you will be marking option A. If only assertion and reason are true but reason is incorrect, then you will give the option B. But assertion true, reason false, so option C, or assertion false, reason true, then option D. So every time whenever you are marking down the options, make sure that you read what does A, B, C and D mean. Alright, first question, assertion, capital A, falling stone has linear motion. Falling stone means a stone which is falling from the roof of a building, जो छत से नीचे की तरफ गिर के आ रहा है. Reason, hands of clock repeats after fixed interval of time. See, assertion A is also true, hands of a clock repeats after fixed interval of time, that is also true. So both assertion and reason are true, but reason does not give you a correct explanation of assertion. So which option would be correct? Option B. Second question, assertion, length of a body parts are reliable unit of measurement. So this statement is wrong. So the option goes for option D, that is assertion is false and reason is true. Question number 3, assertion, tailors use inch tape, and reason, meter is the SI unit of length. So both the statements are correct, but reason does not give you the correct explanation of assertion. So the correct answer is B. Fourth question, the international system of units, that is SI units, has been adopted by countries as a standard unit of measurement. Very true. Reason, footstep is used as a standard unit of measurement for everyone. This is a wrong statement. So which option would be correct? Option C, because assertion is true whereas reason is false. Question number 5, assertion, a group of ants moving in a line is an example of linear motion. Absolutely true, because they are moving in a straight line. Reason क्या दे रहा है वो कि when an object moves along a circular path, this is known as linear motion. So this is what? It is wrong statement, because when the object is moving in a circular path, it is said to be a circular motion. So which option would be correct? Option C. Now we come to the very short answer type questions, which are of 1 or 2 marks. One word, 1 marker, definition 2 marker, or it can be a 1 marker also. Question number 1, name the device which is used to measure the length of a cloth. It is meter rod. Question number 2, name the device used by the tailors to take measurement for stitching the dress. They use a inchy tape or they use a measuring tape. Question number 3, how measuring tape differs from your measuring rod. A measuring tape is flexible means you can increase its length. It can be bent around curves to measure your waist or wrist while stitching the cloths, while a measuring rod, it's a rigid straight bar used to measure fixed lengths, usually in a straight line. Question number 4, name few body parts used to measure length. You have handspan, cubit, foot, yard, all these are the body units which are measured by using the body parts. Length is measured in two parts. What are those? Now see, length is a physical quantity. So it is measured by two things. One is the number and the other is the unit. So we write length is measured in two parts, a number, that is its magnitude, and a unit. Next you have fill-ups. Complete the following. You are going to hide what is written on the right hand side and then going to fill it. Put a notebook or place a book over it. 1 meter is equal to, these are all mathematical things. So 1 meter equal to 100 centimeters, 1 kilometer is 10 raised to power 3 meters or 1000 meter. 1 centimeter is 1 upon 100 meters or 10 raised to power minus 2 meter. 1 decimeter is 100 millimeters and 1 meter is 1 upon 10 DAM, decameter. Question number 7, mention the units used to measure distance between two cities. What is that? Kilometer. Thickness of the coin, millimeter, because it is very less, very small. Length of your book or your notebook, that would be centimeter. Length of your room, meter. Height of a person in centimeters or in meters. Length of a pencil, centimeters. Question number 8, define distance. Give its SI unit. The length between 2 points is known as distance, or the total length of the distance, or the total length of the path covered by an object. That is also called as an distance. Distance means the length. So you have to give its SI unit, that is meter, or we write it simply as m. Question number 9, state the type of motion or the motions which are depicted by the following. First part, pendulum of a clock. So it is what? It is oscillatory. Falling mango from a tree, it is coming down in the straight line, so it is a linear motion. Motion of swings, it is oscillatory, to and fro motion. Motion of earth around the sun, it is periodic because it is coming down after a fixed interval of time. Hands of a clock, it is periodic as well as circular. Question number 10, convert the following. So 3.4 meter into centimeters. So you should know what is meter and centimeter. 1 meter equal to 100 centimeters. So you multiply it by 100. So 1 decimal goes with 1 0, you are left with 1 single 0. So 3.4 meter equal to 340 centimeters. Next is 9.406 millimeter to centimeter. Now you have to divide, because we have given the conversion units above. So accordingly you are going to use 33.4 kilometer to centimeter. 1 kilometer is 1000 meters and 1 meter 100 centimeters. So accordingly you will have those number of zeros. 1005 centimeters to meter. Now you are going from centimeter to meter, means from smaller to larger. So divide by 100. So that gives you 10.05 meter. 7.45 meter to decimeter. Again you are going to divide. 0.84 meter to centimeter, multiply it by 100. 2 zeros with 2 decimal places, that gives you only 84 centimeter. Hope everybody is clear. These system of conversion of units you should learn by heart, because they are going to come up in your maths also. तो आपको ये अच्छे से याद हो जानी चाहिए. Question number 11. What type of motion is exhibited by a swing? It is an oscillatory motion. The to and fro motion is called an oscillatory motion. Question number 12. Which is the correct way to measure weight? See, you are given two figures, A and B. One side mother is measuring the height of a child, the other side father is measuring. So which figure is correct? Figure A. Why? Because when you are measuring, your eye should be along the vertical line. Your eye level should be along the vertical mark. So figure A, because eye should be vertically above the mark which is to be noted. Question number 13. Give two examples of rotational motion. First, motion of the wheel, gears, motor. These are all the rotational motion. motion of the blades of a fan. These are also rotational motion. Question number 14. Kilometer stone reads Delhi 80 kilometer. What is meant by this statement? Generally when you go to Agra या आप कहीं भी जाते हैं तो आपको रास्ते में एक माइलस्टोन सा दिखता है, ऐसा यू शेप सा एक स्टोन होता है, उसके ऊपर लिखा हुआ होता है. जैसे उस पर लिखा हुआ है आप जा रहे हैं रास्ते में और उस पर लिखा हुआ है दिल्ली 80 किलोमीटर. तो किलोमीटर मीन्स डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम दिल्ली. So the kilometer stones indicates that the distance from Delhi, which is 80 kilometer. So Delhi is your reference point in this situation. Question number 15. The distance between Agra and Delhi is 240 kilometer. You have to express it in meters. अब देखिए 240 किलोमीटर है, किलोमीटर को किस में कन्वर्ट करना है? मीटर्स. एंड 1 किलोमीटर इज 1000 मीटर्स. सो 240 किलोमीटर मीन्स 240 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 1000. 3 zeros. So 1 0 is already there, so that comes out to be 24 and then 4 zeros. So 240,000 meters is the correct answer. Now we come to the short answer type questions. First is express in ascending order. Ascending means from going from smallest to biggest. So you have 22.74 meter, 27.4 centimeter and 274,000 millimeter. So first is you should convert all of them into similar units like meter, centimeter, millimeter. Smallest unit is millimeter, centimeter or millimeter. See 27.4 centimeter is smaller than 2.74 meter, which is smallest than 274,000 millimeter. Question number 2. Width of a book excluding its cover is 1.8 centimeter. मतलब जब हमने उसके ऊपर से कवर हटा दिया है तब उसकी विड्थ कितनी आ रही है? 1.8 सेंटीमीटर. इफ़ देर आर 90 पेजेस इन दिस बुक, कैलकुलेट द थिकनेस ऑफ 1 पेज. देखिए टोटल बुक की विड्थ कितनी है? 1.8 सेंटीमीटर और एक पेज की हमने निकालनी है थिकनेस ऑफ 1 पेज, और 99 पेजेस की थिकनेस वो बता रहे हैं कितनी है? 1.8 सेंटीमीटर. सो 1 पेज विल बी व्हाट? टोटल थिकनेस अपॉन नंबर ऑफ पेजेस. So that will be 1.8 centimeter upon 90. So when you divide, see 18 2s are 90 होता है, तो ऊपर से डेसिमल हटा के नीचे 100 आ जाएगा. 1/20 उसको सेंटीमीटर में ही रहने देंगे. So 0.02 centimeters. Question number 3. Length of a book is 20.8 centimeter. If the initial reading on the ruler is 1.2 centimeter, calculate its final reading. अब इसमें क्या हुआ कि आपका स्केल हो सकता है शुरू में टूटा हुआ हो या वहाँ की रीडिंग मिस आउट हो. तो अगर ऐसे केस में हुआ है तो अब देखिए इनिशियल रीडिंग कितनी है? 1.2 सेंटीमीटर और लेंथ ऑफ बुक कितनी बता रहा है वो? 20.8 सेंटीमीटर. तो फाइनल रीडिंग, तो हमारी वैसे एक्चुअल रीडिंग क्या होती है? फाइनल रीडिंग माइनस में इनिशियल रीडिंग. एक्चुअल रीडिंग मतलब लेंथ ऑफ द बुक, वो कितनी दी हुई है? 20.8 सेंटीमीटर. सो 20.8 इज इक्वल टू फाइनल रीडिंग माइनस इनिशियल रीडिंग. सो 20.8 इज इक्वल टू फाइनल रीडिंग माइनस 1.2 सेंटीमीटर. अब ये माइनस वाला लेफ्ट साइड पे चला जाएगा तो 20.8 प्लस 1.2 दैट गिव्स यू 22 सेंटीमीटर. सो द फाइनल रीडिंग इज 22 सेंटीमीटर. नेक्स्ट, इन द एडजॉइनिंग फिगर मेजर द टोटल लेंथ एंड द बाउंड्री ऑफ द लीफ. अब इसमें क्या करना है आपने? मेजर द टोटल लेंथ मीन्स जो बीच में वेन जा रही है, मिड रिब होती है उसकी, वहाँ पे स्केल रखेंगे या थ्रेड रखिए और उसकी पूरी वहाँ पे मेजर करो, फिर स्केल से मेजर कर लो. उसी तरीके से बाउंड्री ऑफ द लीफ पे भी पूरे पे थ्रेड ऐसे लगाकर उसको फिर सीधा करके पुट इट अक्रॉस अ स्केल एंड यू विल बी एबल टू गेट द एक्यूरेट रीडिंग. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. ऑब्जर्व द फिगर एंड क्लासीफाई द टाइप्स ऑफ मोशन. फर्स्ट फिगर इज अ स्पिनिंग टॉप. सो इट इज़ ऑन इट पर्टिकुलर एक्सिस, उसी पे वो घूम रहा है, वो है सर्कुलर मोशन. नेक्स्ट इज द ऑब्जेक्ट्स, मोशन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट्स इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन, सो वो है लीनियर. थर्ड क्या है? सर्कुलर पाथ पे चल रहा है. फोर्थ, द चाइल्ड इज क्लाइंबिंग अप द स्लाइड, इट इज़ अ लीनियर मोशन. फिफ्थ, ऑसिलेटरी, एंड सिक्स्थ इज अगेन ऑसिलेटरी. सो होप ऑल द मोशंस आर क्लियर. लीनियर, सर्कुलर, ऑसिलेटरी, all these motions are clear. Question number 6. Observe the diagram carefully and mention the different types of motion exhibited by merry-go-round. जो ऐसे ऐसे घूमता है, इसमें कैसा होता है? सर्कुलर मोशन होता है. स्लाइड, जैसे अभी हमने ऊपर पढ़ी थी, स्लाइड क्या है? स्ट्रेट लाइन मोशन है, तो वो रेक्टिलिनियर मोशन बोल सकते हैं या फिर लीनियर मोशन बोल सकते हैं. और अगर कर्व्ड स्लाइड है तो हम उसको क्या बोलेंगे? कर्वी लीनियर. लीनियर का मतलब होता है स्ट्रेट लाइन, तो रेक्टिलिनियर मीन्स मोशन इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. कर्व्ड स्लाइड है तो इसका मतलब होगा कर्वी लीनियर. What type of motion do the following objects have? First, galloping of a horse. Second, needle of a sieving machine. Third, movement of a mosquito. Fourth, the blades of an electric fan. E, the smoke from a lighted dhoop batti. Sixth, wheels of a moving car. Again, first option, इसी के सामने आंसर लिखते जाएंगे. A part, the galloping of a horse. So the horse now moves in a straight line. तो ये कौन सा motion होगा? Linear motion. Second, the needle of a sieving machine, it is periodic motion and oscillatory. Third, movement of a mosquito, it is a random motion. D, blade of an electric fan, it is a circular motion. The smoke from a lighted dhoop batti, again it is a random motion. Sixth, wheels of moving car, it is a linear motion and a rotational motion. So let us start with the long answer type questions now. Question number 1, measuring length using body parts must be so much of fun. Is it reliable? Comment. That means you have to justify your answer. Example, length of body parts have different sizes and it varies from person to person and hence the value also varies. Now since there is no uniformity or accuracy in the reading, body parts should not be used for correct measurement of an object. Question number 2, India has a rich history of measurement system. Name few of the units mentioned in ancient Indian literature who are still using this system. Angula or finger width, multiples of angula, danusha and yojashne, some of the units mentioned in ancient Indian literature. The angula is still used by traditional craftspeople like carpenters and tailors. Question number 3, what are the precautions we must be able to take to measure the length of an object? First part, suppose you have to measure the length of your notebook. So what you have to do? आपने एक scale लेना है, you have to place it alongside of your notebook. Part 2, it is important to remember that when you are taking down the reading, your eye should be vertically above the mark which is to be noted. Third point, if the corner of the ruler is broken, any full mark of the scale that is reading, say it is 9.8, it is 1 centimeter or 2.5 centimeter should be taken as your initial reading. Then the final reading is say 9.8 centimeter is marked. So to get the actual reading, initial reading should be subtracted from the final reading. So your correct answer would be actual reading is equal to final reading minus initial reading, which is 9.8 minus 2.5, which is equal to 7.3 centimeter. Question number 4, give reasons. First part, some length measuring devices are made up of flexible materials. Length measuring device made from flexible materials is a measuring tape, which is a ribbon of cloth, plastic or metal which can be easily bent to conform around the curved surfaces so as to measure the length. Second part, reference point is important in deciding whether an object is at rest or is it in motion. The state of rest or motion of an object is defined using a reference point. The reference point is what? It is a point used to describe the location of something. That something can be an object also. An object is said to be in motion if it changes its position relative to the reference point considered as origin. Question number 5. Motion and rest are relative terms. You have to justify the statement with the help of an example. Motion and rest are relative terms? Yes. The body at rest is not in a state of absolute rest. It can be in motion at the same time depending on the reference point. For example, if you are in a moving train, so you are at rest with respect to your co-passengers, but you are in motion with respect to the buildings or the trees or the person who is outside the train. I hope all the questions till here are clear. Now we are going to start with the next part of the chapter, that is the NCERT zone. Question number 1. Some lengths are given in column 1 of table 5.5. Some units are also given in column 2. You have to match the lengths with the units suitable for measuring these lengths. Column 1, distance between Delhi and Lucknow. So definitely it is a huge distance, a large distance. So we will be using a larger unit of measuring distance, that is kilometer. Thickness of coin, it is very small, so it would be millimeters. Length of eraser, again centimeter. Length of your school ground, it would be in meters. Likewise the length of your room also, that is also measured in meters. Question number 2, you have to read the following statements and mark them as true, then you will be writing it as capital T. और अगर वो स्टेटमेंट फॉल्स है तो आप कैपिटल F लिखेंगे. फर्स्ट पार्ट, द मोशन ऑफ अ कार मूविंग ऑन अ स्ट्रेट रोड इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ लीनियर मोशन. दिस स्टेटमेंट इज ट्रू बिकॉज लीनियर मोशन का मतलब क्या होता है, इट इज़ मूविंग इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. लाइन से ही वर्ड निकलता है, लाइन, लीनियर से, तो वो लाइन में चल रही है, दैट मीन्स इट इज़ मूविंग इन अ straight line. So it's an example of linear motion. So this statement is true. Second, any object which is changing in position with respect to a reference point with time is said to be in motion. Yes. So again this statement is also true. Third, 1 kilometer is 100 centimeters. This statement is false because 1 kilometer is 1000 meters and 1 meter में कितने सेंटीमीटर्स होते हैं, 100. तो अगर किलोमीटर को सेंटीमीटर में कन्वर्ट करना है कितनी जीरोस आएंगी, 5. यहाँ लिख रहा है सिर्फ 2 0, सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज फॉल्स. क्वेश्चन नंबर 3, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट ऑफ मेजरिंग लेंथ. यू हैव 4 ऑप्शंस. फर्स्ट इज मिलीमीटर, सेकेंड सेंटीमीटर, थर्ड किलोमीटर एंड फोर्थ इज हैंड स्पैन. आई थिंक एवरीबडी नोज द आंसर एंड द करेक्ट आंसर इज हैंड स्पैन. दिस वॉज द ट्रेडिशनल यूनिट ऑफ मेजरिंग लेंथ. यहाँ पर वो पूछ रहा है कि स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट कौन सी नहीं है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, search for the different scales or measuring tapes at your home and school and find out the smallest value that can be measured using each of these scales, and then you will be recording your observation in a tabular form. So scales लेंगे, different measuring tapes लेंगे और जो छोटी से छोटी वैल्यू आप उससे मेजर कर सकते हैं एक tabular form में आप बनाएंगे. You can take the help with the help of your family or friends. Question number 5, suppose the distance between your school and home is 1.5 kilometer. You have to express it in meters. तो अब देखिए 1.5 किलोमीटर है. फर्स्ट हम किलोमीटर को किस में कन्वर्ट करेंगे, मीटर्स. 1 किलोमीटर इज 1000 मीटर्स. सो 1.5 किलोमीटर कितना हो गया, 1.5 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 1000. 1 decimal, 1 0 will go, so you will be left with 2 zeros. So the correct answer will be 1500 meters. Therefore, the distance between my school and home is 1500 meters. Question number 6. Take a tumbler or a bottle. Tumbler मतलब छोटी bottle, glass जैसी shape की होती है वो. Measure the length of the curved path of the base of the glass or bottle and record it. अब नीचे base को record करना है तो कैसे करेंगे, thread use करेंगे या measuring tape. वो उस curved area के around align कर देंगे, फिर उसको scale के ऊपर ऐसे सीधा रख के हमारे पास उसकी length निकल आएगी. So we will use a flexible measuring tape or a piece of thread to measure the length of the curved part of the base of the glass or the tumbler or the bottle. First we will place the tape or the thread around the round base, and after that we will measure the length of tape or thread on the measuring instrument. So this will give you the length of the base of your glass or the bottle or the tumbler that you have. Question number 7. Measure the height of your friend and express it in meters, centimeters and millimeters. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters and 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So if the height of your friend is 1.55 meters, so what will be it? 1.55 मीटर, इसको सेंटीमीटर्स में कन्वर्ट करना होगा तो 100 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, और अगर मिलीमीटर्स में कन्वर्ट करना होगा तो 1000 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. तो जब आप 100 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 2 डेसिमल 2 ज़ीरोज़ दोनों कैंसिल हो जाएंगे, 155 सेंटीमीटर आ जाएगा. जब मिलीमीटर में कन्वर्ट करना है 1000 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, 2 प्लेसेस ऑफ डेसिमल है वो कटेंगे, 2 ज़ीरोज़ जाएंगे, 1 ज़ीरो वुड बी लेफ्ट. सो योर करेक्ट आंसर विड बी 1550 millimeter. Question number 8. You are given a coin. Estimate how many coins are required to be placed one above the other lengthwise without leaving any gap between them to cover the whole length of the chosen side of your notebook. Verify your estimate by measuring the same side of the notebook and the size of the coin using a 15 centimeter scale. क्या करेंगे, we will place the coin on the side of the notebook जहाँ पे आपको उसकी लेंथ मेजर करनी है, और फिर काउंट द नंबर ऑफ कॉइन्स जो हमने वहाँ पर रखने पड़ेंगे. अब वेरिफिकेशन के लिए क्या करोगे, जो साइड ऑफ द नोटबुक है उसकी एक्चुअल लेंथ आप ऑलरेडी मेजर कर लोगे और एक कॉइन का डायामीटर भी मेजर कर लोगे विद द हेल्प ऑफ योर स्केल. सो डिवाइड द लेंथ ऑफ द नोटबुक बाय द डायामीटर ऑफ द कॉइन. तो आपके पास आ जाएगा कि आपको कितने एग्जैक्ट नंबर ऑफ कॉइन्स चाहिए. सपोज डायामीटर ऑफ द कॉइन इज़ 2 सेंटीमीटर और लेंथ ऑफ द नोटबुक इज़ 20 सेंटीमीटर. तो नंबर ऑफ कॉइन्स कितने चाहिए हमारे पास, लेंथ ऑफ द नोटबुक डिवाइडेड बाय डायामीटर ऑफ 1 कॉइन. कितनी है लेंथ ऑफ द नोटबुक 20 सेंटीमीटर और एक कॉइन का डायमीटर कितना है 2 सेंटीमीटर. सो 20/2 विल गिव यू 10. मेक श्योर इसमें यूनिट्स नहीं आएंगी, कैंसिल हो जाएंगी. लेंथ ऑफ द नोटबुक की भी सेंटीमीटर यूनिट है, डायमीटर की भी सेंटीमीटर है, तो सेंटीमीटर से सेंटीमीटर कट जाएगा और आपके पास नंबर पूछा है तो आंसर सिर्फ क्या लिखेंगे 10. इसके साथ यूनिट्स नहीं लिखेंगे. क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. गिव 2 एग्जाम्पल्स ईच फॉर लीनियर, सर्कुलर एंड ऑसिलेटरी मोशन. लीनियर मोशन मीन्स मूविंग इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. अब 2 एग्जाम्पल्स पूछे हैं. So first example can be a car which is moving on a straight road. Second, an object which is dropped from some height. Circular motion, motion of your ceiling fan in your home. Second, movement of the satellite or the movement of planets around the earth. Third, oscillatory motion, a swinging pendulum or vibrating strings of guitar, because it is to and fro motion also. Question number 10. Observe the different objects around you. It is easier to express the length of some objects in millimeter, some in centimeters and some in meters, depending upon कि हमें कितना बड़ा डिस्टेंस मेजर करना है. अगर आपको बहुत दूर दूर का डिस्टेंस जैसे दिल्ली और आगरा के बीच में मेजर करना है तो उसको किलोमीटर में करेंगे. लेंथ ऑफ योर स्कूल प्लेग्राउंड या रूम करना है तो वो मीटर में करेंगे. कॉइन का करना है तो वो मिलीमीटर में, और इरेजर का है तो वो सेंटीमीटर में. So make a list of 3 objects in each category and you have to enter in the table which is given below. एक तरफ लिखा हुआ है साइज मिलीमीटर, सेंटीमीटर, मीटर, और वहाँ पे आप लिखेंगे ऑब्जेक्ट्स as the examples I have already given you. So any of the objects you can take 5 to 6 objects with you, और उनके along मीटर या मिलीमीटर, सेंटीमीटर, मीटर किस में आप उस ऑब्जेक्ट को रखेंगे वहाँ पे उसकी आप लेंथ मेजर कर सकते हैं. So do it yourself with the help of your friends. आप अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ एक ग्रुप बना लो और इकट्ठे बैठकर आप इस एक्टिविटी को कर सकते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 11. अ रोलर कोस्टर ट्रैक इज मेड इन द शेप एज इट इज शोन इन द फिगर 5.19. अ बॉल स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम पॉइंट ए एंड escapes through point E. You have to identify the types of motion of the ball on the roller coaster and corresponding portions of the track. अब देखिए, जब वो पॉइंट ए से बी पे जा रहा है तो सीधा जा रहा है, सो इट इज़ अ लीनियर मोशन. जब बी से जाता है सर्कुलर पाथ आ जाता है, सो दैट विल बी अ सर्कुलर मोशन. सी टू डी अगेन इट इज़ कंटिन्यूइंग इन अ सर्कुलर पाथ, सो दैट विल बी अ सर्कुलर मोशन. डी टू ई अगेन इट इज़ अ सर्कुलर मोशन. अब इसमें हमने क्या किया, हमने पार्ट्स में उसका हर तरीके का मोशन को डिस्क्राइब किया. सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द ट्रैक जो भी आपको मिला है अकॉर्डिंगली हमने मेजर करते गए कि कौन कौन सा मोशन वो एग्जिबिट करेगा. So hope children you have understood the chapter and you have liked also my explanation. You can buy the books of Gyatva from the Amazon or the Flipkart. See you soon with more interesting chapters of physics. Till then, goodbye, take care.